Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for the podcast version of Trey's Variety Hour is brought to you by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the show. This is going to be a very interesting one, different than we've ever done. There's this huge kind of photography scavenger hunt, which maybe you haven't heard of, but you'll hear all about it tonight. And we've got all these great guests that have participated in it. It's called Chrysta Rae's. It's very vaingloriously named Scavenger Hunt. She is sort of the diva of this whole thing. There she is there in the hat. Hello, Chrysta. How are you?
Thank you.
Good. So we'll go ahead and have introductions here. I was telling people during the pre-show I always feel weird having a bed behind me and hang out. But I am not yet fully settled in New Zealand. I move in a few weeks. In the meantime, I'm renting this awesome place at the Commonage. Here, I'll show you out the window. People always like to see what's going on. I'm coming at the camera to turn it around. There we go. It's out the window. It's that beautiful. It's cold here. It's about 3 degrees centigrade or Celsius, and it is amazingly beautiful outside today. Very clean and clear and crisp and wonderful. And you can see out there in the water, they have these little jet boats that take tourists out there and do 360s and go all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know if you can see out there, but there's somebody else kind of parasailing behind another one. Always something to see out the window. I should probably just point the camera that way. It's probably more interesting than looking at me with a boring bed in the background. So let's start with introductions. We could go left to right, but let me start with Chrysta, because she's sort of the girl of the hour. So, hello. Hello,
Hi.
Chrysta. How are you?
Hello. I am Chrysta Rae. You can find me on Google+. Primarily, well, basically, that's the only place that I am anymore. So Chrysta Rae, or my scavenger hunt page is Chrysta Rae Photography Scavenger Hunt on Google+. And that's my
Okay. Thank you, Chrysta. After all the introductions, we're going to go back to you, and we're going to get the full scoop on this thing. And I'll ask many dumb questions, because as much as I am on Google+, I actually know very little about the scavenger hunt. I'm always seeing pictures come up, people looking for crazy stuff, and I'm kind of understanding
the fact that I ask you to be a judge every year. Like a
Yes. Yeah. I'll talk about being a judge in a minute. I will not be a judge for your show, although I appreciate the offer.
I know.
But we'll talk about that. We do have other judges here. Here is a judge starting on the far left, Alan Shapiro. Hey, Alan.
Hey, how you doing, Trey? So
Good.
I'm Alan Shapiro. You can find me here on Google+. You can find me on PhotoShelter, Redbubble. I'm all over the place, but primarily, go.
Cool. Well, hello, Alan. Thank you. And then in the next square, we've got a twofer. We've got photography's greatest power couple, at least of the Pacific Northwest. You guys have that area fully wrapped up.
Currently in the Midwest, actually.
We're in Nebraska.
Yeah.
Why are you in Nebraska?
My family lives here.
Oh.
That's really the only reason.
That's where Nicole's from.
Wait, so is this your family's first time to meet Brian?
It is.
Oh. This is a very big step. All right, what do they think of Brian so far? Do they approve?
I think that there's a big thumbs up all the way around so far. Yeah.
I didn't get naked yet.
No, not yet.
So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What kind of family is this?
It's Nebraska.
It's Nebraska.
So there haven't been any kind of like uncomfortable dinner conversations with awkward silences where Brian looks nervously left to right?
No.
Not because of me.
No.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish introducing yourselves and that sort of thing.
Nicole S. Young. I am a stock and food photographer, and I also write books on food photography and photography in general with Peach Pit, and I write ebooks as well. So that's how I spend my time. I live in Seattle, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my name is Brian Matiash. I'm pretty much almost always here on Google+, and I'm the education manager for On1 Software, which is a photography software company.
Great. And you know, Brian, I want to go ahead and plug next week's show because we have this, as you know, since you're with On1, we're doing a giveaway. We have this new photography video tutorial series that I'm releasing in a live webinar in about 3 weeks from now. We just announced it today, sort of a soft launch. And as one of the many great prizes, thank you, On1, for giving away something good to everyone that's arriving. So thank you for that, Brian.
My pleasure.
Can I just real quickly, since we're talking about On1 Software, I'm actually going to be writing a book on On1 Software here in about a month. So anyone who's been, I know people have been asking for one, so look for that later in the year.
Okay. All right. By the way, On1 is not a paid sponsor of the show. You might be confused as to why would we talk about a company that doesn't sponsor the show so much. I'm confused about this too. But anyway, there you go, Brian. Just for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, we're going to skip the girl with the hat and go to Dave. Hello, Dave. How are you?
Hello, Trey. Hello, everybody. I'm Dave. You can find me at plusdave.com. That's about it. I sit here, I produce this show, and I won't really talk much.
But you are quite the photographer in your own right. You're coming into. I saw this amazing macro shot that you released.
The
onion shot?
Yeah. That was very smart.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank you.
Are you going to join Chrysta Rae's photography scavenger hunt?
Yes, I did it. I did it last month. I even got an honorable mention from Alan.
He did. He won.
And I'm playing again this month.
He didn't win the whole thing.
No, I just... I got an honorable mention, which was more what I was expecting, so I was happy with that.
You did very well. Very good.
Okay, next is Joe Vallee, who is going to be participating in the scavenger hunt. And most recently, Joe was, I guess, sort of curating or organizing this worldwide Google Plus 1-year anniversary photo walk. And we did one here in Queenstown, just down there on the beach. And I've been watching thousands of photos roll in from all over the world. And I know that was quite an effort for you to put together, Joe.
Yeah, thank you much. Do I have sound now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
you're coming in a little bit hot, you know, like a
CB radio.
Yeah, like a CB radio. Go on.
Sorry, I had to plug in an external mic here. My name's Joe Vallee on Google Plus. Do a little photography. You can catch me there. Last name is V like Victor, A-W-L-E. Yes, I did create the page for the latest walk, for the anniversary walk. So still working on that. I was a first-time scavenger hunt participant last time. Had a great time, and I will be doing it again. Thank you much.
Great. Okay. Also, I'll have you go offline with your bike problem because it's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Okay, and in our next square here is Keith Barrett. Hey, Keith, how are you?
Hey, Trey. Hi, how you doing? I'm Keith Barrett. You can find me on Google Plus and vidcastnetwork.com. I'm an amateur photographer, and I do live streaming of Hangouts on vidcastnetwork.com.
Cool. Good to see you, Keith, as always.
Thank you.
And we can skip Nicole because she's coming to us. The reason that they have two computers there is not so that they can get a quadruple mention of On1 Software, but it's so that Nicole can share her photos coming up because she says there's something wrong with Brian's computer.
There's nothing wrong with it. We have completely different tastes on system preferences for Mac software. So
I know what you mean. I mean, all of his bookmarks for those Asian websites, it gets a little old.
Yeah, it's really complicated to try and sift through those.
It's nice that she's so appreciative and understanding of it.
Yeah, she's very multicultural like that. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. Next is Sam Breach. And Sam is the winner of last year's scavenger hunt. Is that correct?
May. The May scavenger hunt.
Scavenger hunt, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
hello, Sam.
not last year, it's just me.
Hi. So I'm Sam Breach, and I'm an English transplant in the Bay Area. I live in San Francisco. I've lived here 11 years. I joined Google Plus a year ago, just like everybody else here, and it's really transformed my photography. And what I love about it most is that there's such a great group of people here, and the challenges such as Chrysta's Scavenger Hunt and also Selfie Sunday have really given me an outlet for my creativity that I didn't have before. So that's why I'm here. You can find me on Google Plus. I have other dead websites from my previous life around the internet, but mostly I'm here on Google Plus these days.
Cool. Yeah, don't worry. We all have dead, neglected websites that are kind of embarrassing whenever we Google them and find them on page 8. Okay. And last, over here, freshly back from Japan, is Tony Wang. Hello, Tony.
Hey, Trey. Good to come back.
How are you?
Come back on the show. I'm Tony
How was
Wang.
Japan?
Oh, it was awesome. I love Japan, so yeah. I work at Twit.
Your girlfriend is Japanese, yes?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So you and Brian have something in common.
Yeah, stay away from my girlfriend. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish with your introduction, Tony. I keep interrupting.
Yeah, I work at Twit. Produce a little, edit a little, do a little bit of everything here. And I just love taking pictures. So, yeah. You can find me on Google Plus. I have a bunch of photos from Japan I need to edit, so I gotta get on that.
Cool. Yeah, I was enjoying watching your photos come through on Google Plus. It's nice, kind of following people, isn't it? When you don't follow too many people, you just follow a certain amount of people. You recognize when they go on trips. You start seeing their photos filter through. It's kind of nice following people like that, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started with Chrysta. Chrysta, give us the overview of this scavenger hunt. How did it get started? And, what is this thing?
So it started actually, there was 3 of us. There was a friend of mine from Texas who loved photography. There was a friend of mine from New Mexico. She lived in New York at the time, who loved photography, and my mom. And we did it every year. And loved it. It was always a 26-item alphabetical list scavenger hunt that we always did. So we would kind of create it together and come up with the list. And then I discovered G+ and found a whole bunch of photographers that I just thought, it might be fun if I invited more than the 4 of us into the hunt. And one of the very first people that I ever discovered on Google Plus was Alan. And I didn't know anything about anything. And I hadn't any idea who he was or how many followers he had. Or I just fell in love with one of his albums. And so I asked him, because I was going to start the scavenger hunt again for the 4 of us. And I asked him if he wanted to play in it. And said yes. And so it started like that. And then, I started doing posts inviting people, but back then I had, I think 60 followers. So Alan started promoting it more. And because of him, it took 10 days for the first one. We opened the scavenger hunt up for 10 days for signups. And within that time, we got just about 200 people. And 98 people played in it because, of course, everybody, signs up and then life happens, right? Like we all understand that life happens. But 98 people played in the first one. There was 26 items. It was a lot to do the very first time, and that's where it started. And the second hunt, I think it took 10 hours and got 500 people. The third hunt, it went to what's hot, and I had no idea about any of that stuff. So I started the cutoff, the 500 comment cutoff came within probably 4 hours. And then I started having people saying I'm in all over the place. So I ended up with 750 the third hunt. and then the last one that we did, the fourth hunt, I had said that I was going to start the or post the sign up at 12 noon Mountain Time, my time. So I said I was going to post it at 12 noon, and I, you just don't really expect the following that I've gotten. And I was driving, and I was in between bookings for my real job. I noticed the time, 11:45, and I thought, I'm not going to make it to anywhere, so I'll pull over. And on my iPhone, I thought, well, I'll just put the sign up. And so I posted it. This is the sign up for the May scavenger hunt. And then I hit refresh. And within 1 minute, we had over 100 people sign up. So it's crazy, crazy how it's all happened. And I love every second of it. But yeah.
That's very cool. How many followers do you have now?
Well, I had 30,000 just, on my own stuff. But then I was put on the suggested user list. Brian Rose put me on because he has been a champion of the scavenger hunt since the very first one, because I broke Google Plus a few times. I've pushed their boundaries. So he put me on the suggested user list a few months ago. So I am up to almost 600,000, I think, at this point.
All right. Well, congratulations. It sounds like it's been a huge success, and it's just getting started. Can we, Sam, I don't want to surprise you too much, but I do want to show, some of your photos to start out with. Can you share your screen and show us what you found?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I hope while she's doing that, everybody else can get some of their favorite photos ready of their own and some other people's. And while get ready to, while you share your photos, tell us a few stories around them and give us a little bit of background. Go ahead, Sam.
Can you see my picture?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that shot. That was one of my favorites.
God, that was such a great shot.
So this is probably my favorite picture I've ever taken. Because it represents to me persistence, which I'm not very good at. I'm usually kind of flighty and just moving around and flipping from one idea to the next. But this is an idea that I actually had a while back. I work at Electronic Arts, and we have a little photo club, and we meet sometimes at noon, and we go out and we shoot for an hour. And one of the places we discovered was this cemetery, this old Union cemetery. And one of the first times I went there, I'd just gotten a neutral density filter. So I decided that I'd try long exposure and pretend like I was a ghost in the cemetery.
And just to interrupt Sam for 1 second, the item for this picture that she shot was long exposure. This last round, I did a couple of camera setting items so that people would kind of expand their knowledge with their camera. So this item that she shot here was long exposure. Yeah, so that's what she came with.
So I was just, the first time I tried it, I was just wearing regular clothes. I have fairly dark hair. I was wearing a red coat, and I was really pleased with the shots that came out of that first experiment. But when I studied the pictures, I decided that if I was wearing white instead of black or dark colors, then maybe it would be more interesting and look more ghostly. So the next time we went on the photo club trip to the cemetery, I was wearing all my white clothes to work, and I took these shots, but it didn't work because my hair is dark, and I realized that I needed to have everything being light to get the effect to work. So when I saw that we had the long exposure as one of the challenges for this scavenger hunt, I knew immediately, there was just no question about what I was going to do for that one. I knew it was like third time lucky. I was going to go back to that graveyard with a blonde wig on and my white clothes, and I was going to do it again. And this time, instead of going in my lunch break, I actually went on a Saturday at a later time of day when the sun was setting. So in that case, I could also get the sun to light up my face. So that's how that photograph came around. And then technically, I think it's a 4-second photograph. I can probably look in my... Yeah, that was 4 seconds at f8. So what I would do is, set the timer, and then when it went off, I would count for 2 seconds, like one banana. I counted bananas. 1 banana, 2 banana, and then I run backwards. So basically, I start at the end point, and then I run backwards to get the ghostly effect. And that's how it's done. And then, I darken around the edges, because there's a road over here on the left-hand side and a bench, which kind of spoils it. So I darken around the edges. And first of all, I was going to enter this in color, and I sat on it for a few weeks, and then I decided at the last minute to change it to black and white, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, you see, that's why... Go ahead, Chrysta.
No, I finished.
No. What?
I was going to say, that's kind of why I was so happy when you won, the categories and the overall, because it's not just the shots themselves. Obviously, the shots themselves show a lot of technical merit. For me, personally, I'm always a fan of anecdotes of the stories behind the shots. And so that's where it reaffirms how deserving that was. And I was really happy to see how many you took, and taking over the overall prize was well deserved.
Thank you, Brian.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Hey, Chrysta, can I ask you, let's say people are watching and they go, oh, this sounds kind of fun. What do they do to enter? What's the process?
Okay, well, how it works is I will announce, it's every other month is all I can basically handle, because I have a real job. And this is all done on the side for me. So, it takes hours and hours, but I do a sign-up post, and I only can let in 500 people, just because that's pretty much the capacity that I can handle, because I make contact with everybody on a very personal basis. So I do, I tell everybody when the sign-up's going to happen. I do the post. It's always at 12 noon Mountain Time, whenever the day is, and all you have to do is sign up and say I'm in to the official sign-up, and that's it. You just have to be watching, basically, either my stream or the Chrysta Rae Scavenger Hunt stream, and that's it. You just have to be there. But again, it happens so fast, and I always, not always, but so much has changed because of the SUL. And when things go to what's hot, Trey, I'm sure you understand this or can appreciate this. As soon as things go to what's hot, people don't really understand what they're signing up for. So this time around, because I was on the SUL, I did a pre-sign up for anybody who's participated in the scavenger hunt previously. So I did a pre-sign up with them, had 250 people instantly. So I could only have 250 people for the next round. And I was a little bit apprehensive about how long it was going to take, or, how many people were going to be interested, because, the 250 people were going to be new to the scavenger hunt. But I did the sign up, I did the pre-announcement, I did the sign up, and it was, again, within an hour.
Are you boring yourself, Chris?
She's working it herself.
Yeah.
Within an hour, I had all the rest of the 250 people signed up. So, and you know what? It's even better, because when I would do the sign up, it was usually the veterans, and when I say veterans, I mean people who have been with me from day one, or the second hunt, or the third hunt. There's probably 100 scavengers, and I call them my scavengers, that have been with me since the very first hunt, that have taken their photography from that initial, just as a fun thing to do, and have grown incredibly as photographers. And we've built this amazing community together. And it's round 5. So there are there's probably 50 people, I would think, that are round 5ers that have been with me since day one. It's incredible. It's a great group of people.
Well, it's too bad you have another job. Have you ever thought about like doing a Kickstarter or something and selling a book, and maybe you could make, tens of thousands of dollars, and then you could do this full time and get lots of people in. And I mean, it's not a horrible idea. I'm sure you've thought about that. Yes.
Of course I have. I wish it was my job. I'm extremely OCD, or CDO in alphabetical order. I have a very analytical personality. And this is why it works. And everybody from Dave Veffer, there's so many people that want to help me to make it easier for me, because I do this by hand. I contact and I'm in touch with every single person that's ever been involved in the hunt. So, even the one with 750 people, I go to 750 people's profile pages. I make contact with them. I welcome to the hunt. I make sure everybody's happy. If anyone has questions, I do these very colorful spreadsheets, and I keep track of anybody who's dropping out because the spouse is sick, or because, so I make sure that I keep track of people and I can check up on them personally, because that's why I do it. I love the personal connections that I've made. And I'm not sure, Trey, if you know, that I am sitting here in front of a huge 27-inch iMac computer that the Scavengers gave me. Do you know the story?
No, I don't know that story.
I used to do the hunt on what I used to call my 1974 Buick. It was a computer that was run on hamster power, was what I always said. And it was getting worse and worse. And I would drop out of every hangout that I was ever in. And I would be trying to post albums, and I would drop out. So I would be on my iPhone. And it was a struggle. And behind my back, LaDonna Pride and Jake Johnson started a thread, basically a post saying we need to, what was it called? The hamster? Alan, do you remember? What was it called?
Save the Hamster Fund. Save the Hamster Fund.
Yeah. So they ended up it was stupid. On Easter Sunday, they ended up bringing in enough money. They bought me a 27-inch iMac computer that I'm sitting in front of. And this is who my Scavengers are. I never asked for it. I never expected it. I don't expect anything other than the friendships, which I love so much. These people are my family, basically, and they pay me back. So of course I've thought about charging $5 a head. That would take out all of the people who say I'm in who don't really enter, just signing on. But at the same time, there's people that wouldn't join because there was a cost to it. And there's people who have grown, and I see them. It's amazing. This community.
Well, you're the kind of pure heart that does this stuff right, and you're the kind of person people like to support. And I don't know if it has to be required that people pay, but I bet if you did one of these Kickstarters with multiple levels, like even like $1 says, yes, this is a great thing, keep it up, a little tip, to $20 and they get a little soft book, or $50 they get a hard book, or I bet that most of these people would be willing to dump in quite a bit of money just to support you and a good little book out of it. I think you might be shocked at how much money you raise. And I wouldn't be shy about it, because obviously it takes a lot of work and you're delivering something great. You're bringing a lot of people joy. There's something tangible. And, I'm not knowing for sure, but I expect to be extremely successful because people want an excuse to give you money.
I wish that was I don't even know. I'll have to learn more about that. I'm not sure.
Here's a totally different thought. I mean, I know the guys who started Kickstarter, so we can think about that. But why can't the folks at Google Plus just add this on as one of their features?
That's what I've always wanted.
And then pay Chrysta, right?
I've always wanted. That's what I've wanted from the set. Because, again, Trey, not following the scavenger hunt, when I started the scavenger hunt, the very first time, when I started releasing albums, the scavengers are crazy people. They are so much fun. And they comment on everything, like hundreds of times. And it's a very safe environment. So if you are a point-and shooter, or if you have your iPhone, if you are a grandma who just thinks this would be a fun thing to do, you can participate in the scavenger hunt. There's no requirements saying that, you have to be at a certain level as a photographer. So we have these, every range. There's the blurry, the entries that aren't photography standards. And then you have people, like Eustace James, who just blow me away every single round and bring it. They bring it. Sam, oh my gosh. It's like they bring the level of photography. And that's exactly why I was asked many times, how I expect people to grow or to be comfortable in this group of, huge names. And Nicole participated last month. But the reason it works is because it's a safe environment. I have a zero tolerance policy. There is no critiques unless invited. On the side, absolutely not on the scavenger hunt. And every single picture gets commented. I have cheerleader awards that I give prizes to people who I see are commenting on these pictures, because there's new people, or there's young people, or there's people who, and it has to be a very safe environment and to help people grow. And I've had people now, Karen Shackles, who from day one has been with the hunt, who's participated and taken every shot that I've ever asked. And you watch her albums through the stages, and you cannot believe that come round 4, this is the same woman who took the pictures in round 1. It's great because she gets all of this feedback and positive encouragement, and she also sees, you take a picture of an acorn and you say 500 people or 499 people are going to take the same picture. So you all go and take an item and you take a picture in your own view, your own perspective, your own ideas. And then when the albums are released and you get to see everybody's picture side by side, you're blown away by what people, creativity, it's incredible that 499 people come up with such different views than what you did. And then the next time you think, well, I'm going to think outside the box this time. I'm going to push it a little bit further. And then the next time it happens again. So you push it even further. And that's where photographers grow. And it's an easy thing. Kate, like, here, take a picture of me. And, that's an easy thing, you think. But then you think, there's going to be 499 people taking a picture of a puppy. How can I do this better than all of them? And that's what it's become. Like, at first it was a game, but now it's a place to grow as a photographer. And at the same time, if you just want to participate, to be a part of this community, which is amazing, then just do it, right? Just have fun and take your shots. But so every single level of photographer can develop. It's amazing. Hey,
Nicole and Brian, can you share some of your experiences and photos with us?
Yeah, I was the first time actually able to enter it last month. And, I think this is kind of one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I entered, and I think I only ended up entering 3 photos, because you don't have to do all of them. You do as many as you can. But I stayed far too much into my comfort zone. I just didn't take the extra effort to step out of the box. And some of the photos I'm going to share, is that what you want, Trey? You want us to share some of our photos? Some of our photos and other people's? Is that?
Yeah, share a couple of yours and a couple others that you liked.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and screen share on my computer if you want to lock in over there.
Yeah, I'm fully locked in. Go.
All right. Are you guys seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one of my photos. Oh, no, there it went. I could do this Google Plus thing. I know it well. Wait, which one was it? They all look the same after a while. There we go. So this is one of my photos and a long exposure photo for the long exposure topic. I tell you what, part of the reason that it was difficult for me, because Brian was one of the judges, and oftentimes when I'm creating photos, I'm with him. And this is actually one of those occasions, but I made a point to not show him any of my pictures from this venture. But so this is one of those long exposure pictures. And another thing, and I'm just having problems today with
were those Chrysta Rae's comments, or were those Chrysta
Yeah, they
Rae
were Chrysta's
comments?
These are Chrysta Rae's. These are Chrysta Rae's comments. I thought you had to. Oh, there we go. Hit that thing there.
Oh my god.
There we go. Now we can hide the comments.
I'm a Nicole super fan. I'm very sorry. So I get the pictures, of course, before they're released. So I'm the first person who gets to see the pictures. So Nicole is kind of my role model.
I love you, Chrysta. Smoosh. So this is I'm a food photographer. So I actually did this. I did this photo specifically for the scavenger hunt because it could have fit into. I think there was a pink, and I tried to fit some pink hues in here. It doesn't really work, so I ended up putting it in the shallow depth of field category. But again, very much in my comfort zone. And to show some of the photos from some of the other hunters. This one is from Brian Bonham, and it's one of those photos that you look at and you go, wow, I wish I'd thought of that, because it is so creative and so clever. And there's just, it has texture and it's gorgeous. I think this was the pink category.
It was pink, and he won.
I'm so pissed that you're showing that.
I stole Brian's favorite photos.
I'm so pissed.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, that was on my list as well. I think that was one of the best, the best photos out of all of the hunts. Easily a top 5 for me.
So this is what's going on now. Like with the scavenger hunt, you get every single kind of level of photographer taking a picture of pink, and then you have this from a guy who's done all 5. Brian has done all 5 scavenger hunts. He knows what the competition is going to be like, and that's what he did. Like he the level that's broadened. It's absolutely outstanding. When the photographers who've done it, who are like photographers, they do things like Brian Bonham here, who just every category. It was outstanding. And then he does a post share of how he did it, right? That it's actually paint and yeah. So it's a teaching thing as well. So every person in the scavenger hunt who thinks, that's post-processing or that's whatever. Brian doesn't have it. He loves to teach. So he takes that picture and he tells everybody, this is how I made it. And it's actually paint and, it's just an idea. It's easy as far as it goes photography-wise. You just have to think outside the box, which makes every single person involved in that hunt who took a picture of pink grow. It's incredible.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorites. I'll just real quickly show some of the other ones that kind of stood out, and just from a participant's perspective. Una Lee. This was, I think, one of the first place winners.
That one.
Yeah, the spring, right? I think was the category. It amazes me that it's possible that people would not have created these photos if not for the scavenger hunt. And I know when I was really getting into digital photography, wanting to really stretch my own wings, spread my wings or whatever, and become better, I needed a focus. And the scavenger hunt really allows people to kind of have that focus and really try and step out of the box. And whereas maybe they would have just, walked outside and taken a picture of a flower, it's like, wait, I'm going to really kind of make this a little bit more creative and try and do better than other people. So, which I think a little bit of healthy competition is always a good little thing. And then the smoke category here. What's that?
The story of Una Lee herself is unbelievable, and this is another thing that the scavengers are so amazing. This is a woman who's in a country where she is not allowed to go and take pictures. So her husband brings her items so she can participate. So she can still stay in the hunt, and the level that she brought this time was incredible. But she seriously is in a place where she can't openly take pictures like we can. She wears the dress and she can't go out. So her husband brings her all of these things when she asked for them. So they're all of these pictures that she did this round are self-portraits because she can't have models. I mean, everything about it is so great.
Yeah.
I just wrote, and then last real quickly, this is the smoke category. I thought it just stood out really well. It reminds me a lot of Alex Kolosko's water splash photos, where he makes a lot of shapes and flowers and things out of them. So I just thought it was a clever and creative use of that. So those are my photo shares.
You guys are judges this time around, yes?
Yeah, both Brian and I are.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I through my I spoke with Chrysta and I have become friends, and since become I consider her a very close confidant. So a while ago I asked her if she ever needed help, and so she asked if I would judge, and then she and I'm sure Alan can relate, kind of gave me all these warnings up and down about how rabid the scavengers are, and they are, but in the best kind of way. And so I was happy to do it, and it was just the most amount of fun because, you see just how crazy creative people can be, and this is just a small subset of that. And I'll go ahead here really quickly, and I'll share some screens because really we're speaking about Brian Bonham, and I got to tell you, Brian really knocked it out of the box with his horror shot. I mean, this was Brian's submission for horror. So, he was the same person who did the pink one that Nicole just gushed over. But I wanted to give credit about just how creative he can be here as well. But in all honesty, though, probably one of my favorite people, and I'm so happy she's here. I was really excited when I saw she was a panelist here. Is Sam Breach for several reasons, and these are her submissions here. The Ghost one, I voted for several of them for in the top 3, but this one right here for Freckles was one of my favorites. It's such a great concept, Sam. And I'm saying this because I remember there was a post that Sam did about just kind of her ambivalence with regards to growth and mentorship. Whatever.
You can tell that story if you like. I mean, it's kind of. The story of how this picture came about has Brian in it by some roundabout way. Because he was on, what was that show you were on? I can't remember. What Karen Hutton's show?
Life Through the Lens.
Life Through the Lens. And there was a little competition where we could write in the comments, who would our ideal mentor be, and why do we feel like we need a mentor? So I just put in a comment, I'm kind of person a bit like Chrysta. I write from my heart, so it just comes out of me that way. So I said I wanted Jaime Ibarra as my mentor, and Brian picked me as the winner of that competition for what I'd written. And so it transpired that I got in touch with Jaime, and I asked him if he would give me one of his sessions, which you can pay to have a session with him. And so I ended up having a session with him. It's meant to be 2 hours, and it ended up being 4 hours long. It is over Skype. And I told him that I was kind of really wanted to try working with models and things like that. So he gave me a load of encouragement, and that's another story from this hunt. But this picture I took minutes after I got off that call with Jaime, and I used the techniques that he taught me. And so it's kind of came around from the thing that Brian started in the first place with his competition. So it's just a nice circle of events that happen.
And what's even better is that when you kind of put those two things together, the shot and then the fact that it kind of came from your session with Jaime is, when I see the shot, I don't know if anyone agrees or disagrees, but there's definitely an influence there. It looks like something that would be in that vein, that Jaime Ibarra vein. And so, I just from a photographer perspective, I really appreciate that. So, yeah, the hunt itself was really fantastic in terms of. 1 second, I'm just going to turn off the screen share. Was fantastic because of. From a judge perspective, I haven't participated in the hunt other than the judging role, and seeing what people do. Of course, there are two primary, I guess, facets to the hunt. The first one is for I think the majority of the participants, the scavengers, is that it gets them to photograph 10 words, 10 simple words, and you go, or phrases, and you go and you try to take a photograph. That in and of itself, for the majority of the participants, I think Alan, Chrysta would agree, is probably the biggest hurdle. But then there are others. There's another strata to that of people like Sam and others like Nicole, who has showcased, that take it to a level where, okay, maybe going out and doing freckles isn't so much taking a picture of yourself in the mirror with freckles, which, again, could be a huge challenge. But it's taking it to that level of extrapolating something else from it. And so for me, judging that was a real treat. And it was hard picking winners, really hard.
It always is, Brian. Hey, can I jump and share something, because it's a perfect segue from what Brian was offering? Do you mind?
Sure, go ahead, Alan. But right before you do that, I want to second what Sam said about Jaime Ibarra. By the way, here's a little production note. My camera is not where my monitor is. So sometimes if I'm looking this way, it's not because I'm disorienting or because I'm being mean or uninterested. It's just that usually it's in the same place. So anyway, back to what I was saying about Jaime Ibarra. This guy is amazing. I've also had a session with him. I paid him. I would have paid him a lot more. He's incredible. Everyone go track down this guy. He's been on a previous show. Do you remember which one he was on, Dave?
He's been on a couple episodes.
He's been on a few episodes, but we'll make sure we plus mention him in the show notes. Track this guy down, pay him money, meet him on Skype, and your world will be better. Okay?
I totally second that. Absolutely. Yeah. You changed me.
It's really wonderful. Okay, I'm sorry, Alan. Let's go back. No. You're the man.
No worries. I just want to. I think what Brian was talking about is that duality of levels, and the person that I want to spend the most time sharing about is Jake Johnson, and what he did. And he's become a friend, but the friendship went to a whole new level when I heard about his album. And of course, as a judge, we're looking at each of the entrants in their own categories. But what he did is he told a story, a very personal story, a very heart-wrenching story about his cousin who lost a child, and chose to do his scavenger hunt entry as an homage to his lost nephew and or his second cousin. And I just want to take you through this because it's a magnificent story, and it just shows the level of thoughtfulness and inspiration that will come as you're thinking about your life and then marrying it with these 10 topics. And so I'm gonna flip through fairly quickly.
It's absolutely amazing. Just to put in there, Jake was my, from day one, he's been a part of the hunt. He's always astounded me as a photographer. He's amazing. But this hunt, what he did was he took my scavenger hunt list, which includes words like bug and, long exposure and shellage of the field, and he told a story.
Now, look at this image. And, so here he didn't tell the exact story, because if you go to his album, and I will share his album again when this is over, it wasn't a straight retelling. What he did is he told the actual story in the preamble of the album. But, here we're looking at fear. And if you look at this image, it's just so, for me, it's so powerful. And just looking at it in its singularity, I was struck by it. When I saw it as part of the entire album, and this is after the fact, it's amazing. One, the range of work, the range of styles that he brought to it, really pushed what I knew about him and his skill set. So again, here's a word, it's balloon. And when you see it in the context of the story, and no one knew this as they were viewing it, and here's Jake himself for Smoke, and here's Bug. One of the truly powerful images of the album. Not that they're all bad, but when you just take it in. It's staggering what people will do. And then if you look at this is his depth of field shot. And again, looking at the album.
Yeah, the brother mourning the loss of his brother, right? Like the empty seat. But you wouldn't know, you didn't know the entire album.
So it made it that much more spectacular for me. And here's the last entry for sadness. And I think Jake, when I talk and when I teach, I make distinctions between photo gatherers and storytellers. And I think there's that. I like to encourage people to tell stories, and sometimes it's just as simple as adding words to an image to provide a little bit of context, but also for the photographer to add another side, to exercise a different side of their brain. There's also the aspect of storytelling that becomes so important. I mean, anyone can walk around and find a pretty image if they spend enough time. I don't want to. Here now, it's concept added on as another layer of skill that's required, and he just did a masterful job. I want to share another image, not to take away from that, and I could spend hours talking about Jake's album. And
I love that shot.
Everyone watching now, this is another. I mean, this is arguably the I guess the second place winner. I think that Robin has been a participant for several hunts. I don't know how many. This is another of favorite images. The word in the hunt was bug, and here there were a lot of shots of Volkswagen bugs, as you might imagine, and there were a lot of shots of icky spiders, because I had to listen to Chrysta squeal as she was reviewing them and what have you. And here Robin just took a beautiful shot of a bug and added a layer of compositing skill to it, and post-processing. That's another aspect of this. I mean, to watch people.
The VW on his head. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. I get so upset. This is the reason. This is the thing. You take a picture of a bug, and people take. There's so many pictures of bugs. There's this beautiful picture, and then you get someone like Robin Griggs, who knows that both ideas, the Volkswagen bug and the bug, and she combined the two and put this stinking label on the front of him, like the oh my gosh, it blows my mind. But this is why it works. This is why the creativity grows, because she's not outdoing everybody. She outthought everybody. And it's a creativity thing where now all of those hunters, every single person who took a shot of a bug, the next time are going to think, what can I do now? Like, what can I do to this, to this next theme, or this next word, this next item can be like what Robin did with bug. There was clear bugs and Volkswagen bugs, which I'm sure every single person who was taking a picture of a Volkswagen bug thought, like, this is going to be awesome.
Hey, Chrysta, I think you got to get your own regular hangout show for the scavenger hunt. You're awesome. I mean, people would love people. The scavenger hunt would watch you every week just to watch you get excited about all these photos. And then remind people about the Kickstarter thing, and they'll go, "Oh yeah, I should go give that girl some money. She's awesome."
I really, this is my passion. There's things that you do in your life, and I'm a paid photographer. I do interior photography, real estate photography for a living. Like I don't. This is my passion. I wish that Google Plus would do this as a feature of G Plus and pay me to do this. And I mean, I could do it every single month, and the realm of it could get so much bigger, but it's
I
just
agree.
me
I got your
on
back.
the side. Yeah, it's on the side. And, this hunt, I had a lot of, little dramas and stuff, because this is the first time that I did it where I had to, balance some things. But I love this. I love pushing people. I love when I see, like I said, that, the people who've been there since day one, this round, Barbara Matthews, oh my gosh, like she blew me away. Alan, can you, anyway, it doesn't matter. She
what do you want me to do, Chrysta?
I'm sorry. This is, again, why I have 75 people written down on a list to talk about that I can't pick. But like Barbara Matthews, she's been there since day one, and her photography's always been good. But this month, like this round, her smoke, like the cowboy, do you guys remember, Brian, Matiash, do you remember? The cowboy with the smoke going off into... This is a woman who's done this hunt since day one, who's never really, oh my gosh, and she won so many awards for this. And it's because of the hunt. It's because that she knows she's safe. So even if she, if she tries something that she's not completely comfortable in, she knows that no one's going to say anything negative. Everybody's going to be positive. And if she wants constructive criticism, she can get it. Alan, who has been the judge from the first second, if you want to know why he didn't pick your picture, or he did pick your picture, he will tell you. Like, he, point blank, and he's from New York, there's no filter. He'll tell you why, which is fantastic.
I've got a filter.
No.
It just doesn't work.
It's dirty. It's clogged.
There's no filter, which is great. I love that. That's why
you're from New York.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole... Oh, Trey, you need to judge. I ask you every time. You need to judge.
No, I think he does have a filter. He just filters out the nice things he might have said.
I say tons of nice things.
He really does. Yeah, he really
I think this is the smoke shot you were talking about? Or?
Yep, that's it.
See? This is the... Oh, my gosh. And I could bring up the what she started with to this. I mean, look at that shot. It's phenomenal. And this is a woman who does 99% rodeo pictures. So she stretched so much to create the shot, and it's incredible. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do this.
I think one of the interesting things that, as I've talked to a lot of the folks is the value they see in this is, they're expanding their portfolio. I mean, it's not easy to be self-motivated for a lot of people. And so to be given something as simple as a list to then go out and photograph is a nice thing to do, to see the level of support, to see and hear a lot of the discussion around, and it includes a little bit of trash talking, which I think is kind of fun and just makes the whole experience a little bit lighter. But people have literally put portfolios together to go and solicit work as a result of the hunt. That's the level of play that they're bringing as they go from one hunt to another. I just think it's one of the best activities you could possibly imagine here in this community. It takes the best of this community and what's imagined and brings it all together. And I can't tell you how many friendships I see emerging as a result of this.
Well, and that's the main thing that's happened for me is friendships. I've created friendships on here because of the hunt. Brian Matiash included. Brian Matiash, went so far as I was nervous about going to a shoot because I shoot real estate. I shoot interiors. He my friended me, and so he tracked me that day to make sure I was fine. I have friendships because of the hunt that I will have for the rest of my life, and that's bottom line. If you want to go on G+, if you're new to G+ and you don't have any idea about anybody, but you are interested in photography, you have to be interested in photography. Join the hunt. It's one picture. Because I never say that you have to have all 10. One picture. You take one of the item words, go and shoot it. But in the meantime, you create these amazing friendships with people, like Brian Bonhams and Eustace James and Keith Johnson's, the people who have been there since day one, who are engaging and encouraging. And last hunt was the first time that I ever incorporated words that were camera related. So last hunt I had shallow, as in depth of field, right? Like it was shallow depth of field and long exposure. I had those two words. This hunt, not to spill any beans, but I have motion. You have to know your camera to create a picture of motion. You have to. And that's one of the things that's so great, because you take someone who likes photography, who likes to, to do things like a scavenger hunt and have fun, but all of a sudden you get this word that, okay, well, I'm going to have to learn how to take this picture of motion. I have to learn shutter speed, and I have to learn things and that, to me, is just a fantastic bonus that happens from hunt to hunt, so that people learn.
What's the hardest word that you've ever come up with?
Oh, gosh.
Gross. Gross. Gross.
No,
gross
so I did gross. I did gross. Thinking, oh my gosh, I thought that it would be, and I even said a whole bunch of times, like gross as in, the homeless shoe or litter or...
Or the dead animal, or the roadkill.
Seriously? So, Trey,
or the hand dipped in peanut butter and Nutella that doesn't look like peanut butter and Nutella.
We know Trey, I had to literally, I couldn't, the pictures I was getting in, it was gross. And I just meant, the pictures were terrible. Not terrible in the sense of, they were bad pictures. They were amazing pictures, but they were terrible, gross. They were gross. Taken very literally. So I had to go to Brian Rose, who is my right-hand man, basically, in this whole thing. He responds to me if he's on family vacation or whatever, because I broke Google Plus.
Because you break Google all the time.
I do. But I had to go to him and say, I'm not sure what to do about this picture. He said, you have to send it for approval. And then I had to put up warning albums on the album, the gross album, and I couldn't share it public. There's an entire album out there on G Plus that's only shared to the scavenger hunters of, it wasn't even May, right? It was March. I can't even remember now. But anyway, it was
hey, before we get to, I want Sam to share a few people that she liked from the other scavenger hunts, and I want to hear from Joe too. But before that, I wanted to ask you guys, and I don't know if this is you, Chrysta, or maybe it's your whole team there that you've co-opted into your evil scheme. But I wondered how you're going to use events, this new event. So are you going to use that to try to get photos into a certain word, or have you thought about that? What's your plan?
I'm scared. You know what? I'm scared. I'm so anal that I'm Dave Veffer.
Yes. Krista's scared. You can't use events because everybody can see the photos, and the photos are supposed to be secret until the judges have voted on them. So.
Oh.
There's so many different aspects of this hunt that, Dave has come up to me numerous times saying, I know a way that I can fix this, or I can help you, not fix it. I can help you make this easier. But it's such a personal venture for me that I still can't see a way that people can post in a group forum where I will still be able to, at the end of the day, say, hey, I know Nick Gatens is number 387, and I know he shot this and this and this. And I even talked to him about how he got this shot. This is what the hunt is for me, and that's why I do it. And
so, when people submit a photo, do you know who took it?
Oh yes. So how it works is, everybody takes their photos, and then they just post an album in their profile to me. So they just, how you restrict it instead of doing it public or whatever. You just put in my name, So then I go, if I see people have taken pictures and posted them, I'll go around and collect the ones that have been taken. And I have incredible, beautiful spreadsheets that everybody makes fun of. They're very colorful. But I go around and I collect the pictures so I know exactly who's taken what and who's, And then at the very end, when it goes to the last day, I will go through, again, every single person that has signed up for the scavenger hunt. So all 500, this round is 530. So all 530 people, I'll visit their profile. I'll go to their photo albums. I'll make sure that there's a July scavenger hunt album in there. If not, they're out. If they are, I submit their photos into an external hard drive and I rename them. So because it's a anonymous hunt, I've on the side, given everybody a number. So if, like Dave Veffer's number 53053, I'll go to his album. He's had, he has 6 photos out of 10. I'll go through and name them all. Lace by 063, long exposure by 063, and do all that. And so I name them all. And then they're an external hard drive. When I'm finished through everybody, all 500 people, 530 or whatever it is. Then I create an album on G+ called Long Exposure and put every single person's picture into the Long Exposure album. And then I release those to the judges. So then the judges go through, they tell me, okay, number 3 points goes to 053, which I know is Dave Veffer. And I assign him 3 points. The next, and then at the very end, I release the album. So I open the albums again. I have to reload them and stuff. But I open those albums up to the public, and that's when the magic happens. That's when the scavenger hunt is truly an incredible thing, because no matter what you enter, you're going to get feedback. You're going to get the positive of every single thing that you've done right on your shot. And you get to see what everybody else came up with. And that's the greatest part of it. You take a picture of a pink flower and think, oh my gosh, I did so great. I took a picture of a pink flower. And then you see, pink like Brian Bonham. Pink, right? And you just think, oh shoot, wow, that's incredible. Next time, I'm going to think like that. And next time, they do think like that.
Especially for as mediocre of a photographer as Brian Bonham is.
I thought you were going to say Dave Veffer on that one.
I'm sorry. You're right.
Okay. They're friends. We know that.
You're so going to kick your butt.
We're going to Crater Lake in a few weeks.
And you're going to drown.
I'll kick your butt.
I don't know. You're going to be at the bottom of the lake at the end of the trip?
Yeah.
Hey, Sam, will you share some of your favorite photos with us that other people took from the event? Please.
Can you see that? Is it very small? Or is it big on your screen? So this picture is. Let me just move it. I think this was for some reason I can't fathom, is one of my favorite pictures from the whole hunt. And actually, what I decided to choose, I guess that everyone was going to be choosing the big wow pictures. So I tried to select some of the ones that weren't It's
a big wow.
So this one is by Gary Paakkonen, and this was for the smoke. It's a girl in a hat. Of course I like it. We all like girls in hats. I just love the look of this one. It looks so professional. When I saw it, I was just blown away. And I love the nail polish is chipped. And this is actually...
I love that you picked...
Sorry, you can...
No, I'm just saying I love that you picked this. This is somebody who has done the hunt multiple times. And when I said, oh my gosh, he said, I know it's the best picture ever. And it's because of the hunt, right? This is what's happening. because I say, hey, go take a picture of smoke. And this is what's happening. It's amazing.
And this is actually his daughter that he shot. And I think that's so great. She looks like a model. It's awesome. So what else have I got? Some of the ones I've chosen have already gone by. So let's see. This was another one of my favorites. This was in the freckles category. And I just love that it captured this moment. And she had such an intense look. And you could see that she was really working hard at the sport she was playing. And, it captured the movement in her hair. But it also had the freckles as well. So it wasn't just the freckles. There was so much else going on in the shot. That's why I like that one. What else do I have? I don't think anyone's mentioned Erika yet. And she did such an amazing job in this hunt. She actually used her daughters as models throughout the hunt.
Yeah, she recreated about every one of her shots was a recreation of a piece of art.
Yeah.
So this one was American Gothic. So I just thought this one made me laugh so much when I saw it. There was such a great expression in the children's faces. It was just perfect. And you should really go and check her whole album and see them all together because she just did such a great job.
Now, I also hear she's working on a sequel to this, Sam, just so you know.
Oh, I look forward to that. I think I'm going to meet her. I think I'm going to meet her in Portland on Friday, if everything goes.
I'm so bummed I'm not going to be there.
I'll meet you in Vegas instead.
Fair enough. That's right.
Vegas. This is another one I loved. Somebody just said, just a pink flower, but this wasn't just a pink flower. When I saw this picture, I just looked at it and I was like, how on earth? This was Christina, right? Yeah, it was by Christina Lawrie. I just looked at this picture, I was like, how did she do it? And I just couldn't stop looking at it and trying to work out how she did it. And she actually has done a post about how she did it. But in actual fact, this flower was almost a heart. It really almost was a heart, and she didn't do very much in order to make it look like that.
This is another thing that's happening because of the scavenger hunt is, somebody posted first, like, kind of before and afters. And I think Angie Smith took it to a whole nother level. And,
big time.
Actually posted, like, huge before and after, like, unprocessed pictures to how they got their pictures the way that they... And now this is a thing. This is what's happening with the scavenger hunt, apart from the scavenger hunt, is the after albums that are coming out teaching people. Kirk Jordan, his long exposure of In the Vehicle. Oh my gosh, I wish I had that picture. Oh, I'm so stupid. Okay, so he put his tripod in his car and just took pictures while he was driving around, long exposure pictures. He did it all to a video at the end and said, this is how I did it. This is exactly how you can create the shot. And that's a huge, unbelievable side effect that's happening from the scavenger hunt is that you're learning. For example, I would never have known, ever. I want to do it every time I go through a drive-through. I think, oh, should I have my camera on a tripod? And I mean, it's incredible that we're all teaching each other.
Yeah, but everyone except Brian Bonham, right?
Because I say, hey, go out and take a exposure shot.
I mean, like,
he's really just...
sort of disappointing. It's really disappointing, the lack of teaching coming.
God.
It really is. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, you guys! So not true.
You're so mean.
Hey, before we see some of Joe's stuff, Chrysta, there's a comment here in one of the streams. It's from Mario Ferreira, something like this. He goes, plus Chrysta Rae, I think I'll die from depression for not being in the hunt. Equals Your idea is amazing, and you are great. It's a very nice compliment.
Well done.
Are people quite stressed that they're not in your scavenger hunt?
I hope that people don't die because of anything that has anything to do with me. But because, I mean, it's just too full. So I have to, there's huge things that go around saying when I'm going to announce the hunt. And, I mean, that's how it has to work. So I wish, like I say, Google Plus, there's even a hashtag, hire Chrysta Rae, that, like, Google Plus hashtag. I would love for this to be a full-time, obsession. But...
Cool. Okay, Joe, let's try out your new mic, and you can share some stuff with us if you're ready.
Okay, do I have it? Can you guys hear me this time?
It's a little better. We'll let you know if it's unusable, though. Go on.
Okay. I'm going to try this here and see what happens. I'll just share one of my pictures. This was my first scavenger hunt ever, and everybody was talking about, you got to do it, so I thought I'd give it a try. Let me bring up one of mine.
Oh, please have here. Please have here. It's beer. Please tell me it's the beer. Oh, long exposure.
Okay, this one here is one that was for fear, and it was all because of Chrysta Rae's comment.
Nice.
At 3.5 days, she made a post and said, you only have 3.5 days left, and I was just like, a light bulb went on that I had to do this thing. So I literally took and went in and made this poster, grabbed a bottle of tequila, threw the book on there and the tripod, and I had this in about 20 minutes. So, it was just a fun little shot for fear that was on there. I'll share a couple of my two favorite shots real quick here. Show us the scavenger hunt.
Hey, Joe, maybe if you could just show us maybe just one more, because your audio is really almost impossible to hear. We'd love to hear you, but we can't. So maybe just show us one more photo.
I loved his horror, though. That was, like, my favorite horror.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? Hello?
Yes, kind of. Go on.
Okay, this was one of my favorite shots. It was in the first album that was released, was Balloons, and when I saw this, I just went, that is basically simple, but so friggin' brilliant. It was unbelievable. So I absolutely love this shot.
This is Robin Griggs Wood.
Exactly.
And she is a mentor, right? And this is the huge thing, right? She's a mentor to so many people. I love that she brought it like this. I mean,
as soon as I saw that, I voted that first place. Literally, as soon as it came by, I mean, it was so freaking good.
Brian, I don't understand what that is. Will you explain it to me? What's that?
Well, when a man and another receiving party,
a male balloon and a female balloon.
When a male balloon and a female balloon, or another male balloon, decides
another male balloon that has ovaries, apparently.
Yeah. Well, there should be a sequel to that photo with just a bunch of little mini balloons coming together. That could be yours, Brian. You should shock the world with just the meaning of the mini balloon.
So much for syndication in the Bible Belt. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this here was my favorite picture of the whole scavenger hunt, and it, again, was by Sam, who ended up winning the contest. And I thought it was just absolutely brilliant. This was
shallow depth of field. This was the category was shallow depth of field. This is what she did.
I still have no idea. I have no idea from what part of my brain that came from. I just look at it and like, how, why, what? Where did that come from? I don't know.
You were hungry, Sam, and it was warm, and you wanted it to be cold, and there you go.
And I was nagging you in the your lower brain. Chrysta was saying, "Shallow depth." Which is one of those incredible side effects is that when I started it, just as a game. It was awesome, but now I say, okay, everybody go out there and take a picture of red. And I know that there's 500 photographers out there in every single, realm of the globe stopping and saying, "There's red! Stop! Stop so I can take a shot." And it's a ridiculous feeling for me to know that because of a scavenger hunt, that this is the result. It's amazing.
Okay, well, this is awesome, you guys. Thank you for doing this and sharing these photos. I think everyone's probably that doesn't know about it now knows about it. They're all jealous and they want to get in. It's really great. I mean, amazing photos. And I have a feeling that the ones you just chose to show us is just the tip of the iceberg. You could probably show us hundreds more. So we're about to move into the phase of the show where we do Google Plus discoveries, and so everyone brought someone new to Plus mention and follow. We do those in the show notes because sometimes we say these people's names and they're practically impossible to spell, like Jaime Ibarra, right? Only dolphins know how to spell that. What's going to happen now is we'll all go through and we'll do our Google Plus discoveries. And even though I have instructed Chrysta Rae only to bring one person.
No, I do. I'm good. I'm good.
Well, okay, you're going to be last. And if you do choose to have more than one person, I guess that's okay. But I'll go ahead and start.
But I've got one person. I'm all good.
Okay. Let me start. I'm going to share my screen here. A screen share. Go. All right, this guy's great. He is now in my super secret great photographer circle, and he is a German, and he does these amazing photos. And he's one of these guys, sometimes he posts the before and after, and it's super annoying because they're like the same. It's like, oh yeah, you want to see the before? Well, here it is. It's about 1% different, you bastards.
Oh, presto changeo. Nothing happened.
Yeah, one of those guys. But anyway, he's really good. And if you just look, I don't even know where to start, but he does great work. And go circle up him. Really interesting photos. I don't know where I heard of him. Oh, I think Olaf. I shared one of his photos yesterday, and I follow Olaf, and said something nice about this guy. Anyway, go follow Michael because he's a winner. Okay, I'm going to unscreen share, and let's go. Okay, let's start with you, Alan. Do you have someone you'd like to share with us?
Yep, hang on. I've got two. Let me just go to screen share.
All right.
Give me a quick sec. Where is it? There it is. Okay. Let's see. Am I sharing it? There we go. Okay, so for my first one, it is a long exposure photographer named Marc Koegel. So let me, and I'm just, I guess he doesn't share very large images. Let me go big. I'm sort of, as a portrait photographer, as a nature and macro photographer, I mean, I dabble in a lot of genres, and one of the ones that intimidates me no end is long exposure. So I've been following people like Joe Tintelaire and even Athena Carey, who I adore, who is doing a lot. But I saw this man's work, and it just really spoke to me. I'm not sure if it's coming through very large. I think this one is just so powerful. His composition, his processing. As someone who, because my day job is in advertising, I'm a creative director. So I look at skills across a range of levels, and so I see a great photographer, but then I start looking, and the level of post processing that people bring is important to me. So this guy is just one of those complete packages. He's not very photogenic. He does do tutorials. Here's another of his images. Let me go to someone else now. There's a teacher here that I want to plug, who I just had the pleasure of doing a hangout with and listening to. His name is John Paul Caponegro, and he is just a marvelous educator and photographer. And he's doing a seminar and photo expedition to Iceland. And Michael Quinn is, I guess, one of his partners in this venture. So JP was talking about Michael, and it just sparked some interest in me. And I came upon this image, and I just looked at it, and it blew my mind. I love color, and I just love people who see things slightly differently. Again, I look at albums a lot these days. So as I flip back and forth from this image to this one, and then to this one, and I look at a person's range, and I look at the thought process that's going on, and I'm really struck by Michael's talent. So those are my two.
Okay, great. Thank you. And speaking of a complete package, let's now talk to Brian and Nicole.
Go ahead, Brian.
Thanks, babe.
It's so funny, Nicole. You just can't stop laughing. Okay, sure.
So I've got two photographers as well. I'll just kind of quickly mention. So I'm really a really big fan of what like Carrie Murphy and Kelly Seeger Kim have been doing with Macro Monday, and a lot of what I see are these flower shots. And Kim Pemberton, I've become friends with her through Google Plus primarily. I believe she's also Canadian, and so I don't think. Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, she does great work, and I just love the subtlety of her macro shots. I'll just kind of skim through them really quickly. But and this also kind of goes in the same vein of Alan. Like, to me, Alan's a grandmaster when he shares his macro floral work. To me, it drives me nuts because of how ass backwards I am when it comes to macro floral. So when I see people like Kim here, who's doing these things where, to me, when I see this, everything makes sense, but I guarantee you if I took this exact shot, I never would have come to this result. And so I wanted to showcase her over here. Just her flower shots are just, to me, fantastic.
Yep.
And then as a New Yorker also, Alan, Brad Sloan, disclaimer, Brad's actually a friend of mine. We met through Google Plus, but I've become friends with him and his wife, Mandy. And so Brad went to New York and recently on a trip. And when I think about the prolific amount of shots that he took, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn. And so I love seeing shots of my home that I never would have thought about seeing. And Brad has kind of just crushed it. Every time he shares a new shot here, even though, this can be from the top of the Empire State Building, it's just a different viewpoint. And I mean, look at this shot. To me, this is such a great shot of my home. So I really wanted to showcase him. And Trey, I know you shot this Apple Store. I really feel that Brad needs to be showcased because he really brought it here with this particular album of Gotham shots. So Brad, solid job, man. And those are my peoples. And I'll stop screen sharing now.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, now you, Nicole.
All right, I'll go ahead and screen share if you want to lock in on my on my little box over there. Okay, so my first pick, actually I only have one. So my only pick is Alex Mody. I'm becoming more and more fascinated with landscape photography. It's actually kind of a very new thing for me to actually be photographing landscapes in the capacity that I am right now. And I'm also a very recent transplant to the Pacific Northwest, and I found Alex's work, and I was drawn into it because it's very similar to the style that I find myself photographing when it comes to landscape. Very natural, not a lot of heavy processing, just enough to really make the image really, really look great and shine. And so he has some really wonderful work, and he really doesn't have a whole lot of followers, which is kind of surprising just based on the quality of his images. So, like stuff like this, it looks like I could have, I've probably been there. I don't know where this was shot, but I go down to Portland out at the gorge. And so I see stuff like this and I'm like, oh, I'm going to find that, that's beautiful. Actually, I've been to that one. So, it's just fun to see all these shots what's that, Chrysta? I'm falling in love with the Portland area, and I'll very likely be actually out there later in the year. So.
Oh, that has like hearts all over it. I love it. Right.
So Alex Mody.
Chicken balls for you.
Chicken balls. So that's my pick.
Great one. That was a good one. I don't follow that guy. I need to. Okay. Now, let's try you, Joe. Let's see if get your mic working better for your share.
Can we hear me?
Kind of. You're a little off and on.
Okay, sorry about that. This guy that I'm going to share, I just met on the walk on Saturday, and his name is Babar Afzal, A-F-Z-A. He does a little bit of everything, but what blew me away is we went walking in the bushes to find this little area, and he shot this infrared shot that you wouldn't even believe that is down in the L.A. riverbed. Can you see that right now?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So he did that, and then basically just running through his album here, some just incredible other work, some architecture. He does portraits, some amazing HDR that is, just enhancing the stuff. I would highly recommend you looking through his album when you get a chance, because he's got some very, very good stuff here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. This guy has like 8,000 followers, and it's just amazing. I went through this and looked through this album, and it was just phenomenal, the stuff that he had in here. So I would definitely recommend cruising this. He's been published in a couple books too. He came from Dubai. He lives out here in Burbank. The first time I had talked to him, but there's some really, really cool stuff. It's worth taking a peek through his album for sure. So I would take a look at him and definitely give him a circle if you get a chance. I think there's one more here that I'm going to flip to it real quick. This one was also right here. That was also shot in the LA riverbed. I mean, how would you ever guess that was there? Just phenomenal stuff. So, anyways, that was my little find.
Great. Thank you, Joe. It's a great find. Okay. Yeah. And now you, Sam. Who do you have for us? Okay. You can see.
Can you see that?
Yes.
I found this guy called Michael Gemine, or I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. He's from Belgique. And he only has 582 people have him in circles. And I discovered him through Urban Explorers because I'm a big fan of the Urban Explorers. And there's this one album I particularly like, which is called Hotel Rouge. And what I love about his pictures, so many of those Urban Explorer pictures are just pictures of the interior. They don't have an extra thing that really draws you in. But his pictures, they always seem to have a question in there or a story or something that really draws you in and makes you think a little bit more about that picture. It's almost as if he styles it and puts certain things in the image in a certain place to tell a little story. And like this particular picture right now with the chair, I just think it's exceptional. And this one with the bed, who was in the bed? Why is the sheet turned over? Even though it's abandoned. And I just thought his work was super amazing, and he only followed by 582 people, so he definitely deserves some more followers.
Great one, Sam. Thank you. And before we have Chrysta unload on us again, I wanted to ask, Keith, are you doing the scavenger hunt now that you have a new Sony NEX7?
I'm seriously considering it now. It looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like it's very educational too.
You're in. You are in. You just tell me.
I guess I'm in.
There you go, Keith.
Oh my gosh, the item list came out yesterday, so you're in. If you want. Oh gosh.
I already have my photo for fear.
What'd you do, a screenshot?
That was last month.
Oh, ouch. I have a new photographer. I'm not very good at screen shares, and I'm nervous about.
It's okay if you tell it to Dave. Dave can screen share, and you can talk about the person.
Dave. Okay, Dave.
Yes.
Derek Kind.
Aha.
Derek Kind. He's the last hunt photographer. Where I see thousands of pictures throughout the month, everybody's and I know that I am the only person that's seeing these shots, and and I take it very personally. I know that I'm the only person who is going through and saying, "Oh my gosh, like this is a great shot," because I'm the only one who gets to see it for the first month or whatever. But Derek Kynes, Depth of Field. Can you find that, Dave Veffer? Yeah. So if I just Depth of Field, or I can, yeah.
Which one is this Depth of Field?
No, it's.
Oh, this is long exposure. Okay.
Can you post the URL in the chat forum?
I don't have a chat forum. Okay.
Oh, I'll find it.
Okay. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't have the chat thing, or I don't know why. But anyway, he's my find. He's probably my very best for this round. His picture of Depth of Field, because it's a Depth of Field shot, right? Like it's shallow, and I did a whole explanation about what it was and how to work your camera, and then you have the people who go around help the people who don't have DSLRs, who have point and shoots, and there's people who everybody helps each other. It's amazing. But then I get this, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm going on my iPhone, and I get to his Depth of Field shot. There it is. That's exactly what it was. And it made me hysterical. It just, do you see it? Can everybody see this?
Everybody see this?
Yeah, it's on Dave Veffer's.
He's measuring how deep the field is.
It's a Depth of Field. With the Depth of Field in it. Like, it made me ecstatic, because here's a guy who I hardly knew, right? Like, I didn't know of him. I knew of him, but I didn't know, really. I didn't get him until this last time. His Spring. Do you have Dave Veffer? Do you have his Spring? His whole album it's exceptional. It's unbelievable. But that Depth of Field, where he is, he's measuring, he's thinking about it. It's something that's processing on. That's why I do the hunt. It brought me back to the level, and I spent 3 minutes, and I even said, I'm still here looking at this picture.
This one, right?
Look at the Spring. So look at this. So he asked me permission to use a picture that he had taken in the winter. He said, can I take, and I said, Photoshop is allowed. Absolutely. Like, as long as the majority of the picture is a Spring picture, yes, take a texture, basically, is what it is. But he's springing from Spring. It's a literal thing. It's absolutely amazing that he did this. And this is what has happened, because I said, go take a picture of Spring. These are the results that are happening. These are the things that photographers are pushing themselves to do. It blows my mind. There's a huge difference between, hey, go out and buy Jell-O and make a batch of Jell-O and take a picture of it, to what's happening now. It's absolutely incredible. And, the level, and again, it's so open to anybody who wants to participate at any level. But the people who are actually, invested in photography, who have a passion for photography, they get to see what what the Eustace James of the photography world are doing. And they know for the next time, let's up it a little bit. Let's take it up a notch. Bath, perfect word. Bath was one of the words. You get everything from a picture of a bathtub with a rubber ducky to, bloodbath, where people are setting up shots where it's a bloodbath. I mean, it's amazing the realm that lace was the typical lace bra to a shoelace to a poison in a wine glass. It's incredible.
Well, Chrysta, thank you so much. And if everyone else agrees with me that Chrysta should have her own regular hangout show for the scavenger hunt, be sure to plus mention Chrysta. Say, yes, you have to do it. You should do it. You're fantastic. You're infectious, and you're the perfect person to run the scavenger hunt. I know why everyone talks about it now. It's not just the hunt. I think it's you. So really, thank you. It's awesome. All right, well, now's the time when we kind of wrap up the show. Next week will be all sort of beginner photography stuff, and it will be a really fun show, very different and very nice. I look forward to that one as well. So anyway, everybody, we can just kind of wave goodbye now from our little things, and we'll kind of end the broadcast officially now. Thanks again, everyone, for coming. That was awesome. Thank you, Chrysta.
Thanks, Trey. Nice meeting you.
Bye, everyone.
You need to judge, Trey.
No,
Okay,
I'll
guys.
still ask
See ya.
you, Trey.
Gotta
Every
judge.
single round, I'm going to ask you.
You gotta judge, Trey. Come on.
Also, Chrysta, when you do your show, you should just down a bottle of Pinot right beforehand. That'll help.
Right. I even said I'm going to try, but I didn't have enough time.
You could get a Camelback.
Okay, bye, guys.
Later,
Bye-bye.
Trey. Thank you.
See you later.